This video is sponsored by Keeps, more on them later. Hey guys, Ron here, and a few months ago I released a video in which I made pre-evolved forms of legendary Pokemon. So here's some more. Most Pokemon don't only grow up when they evolve, their concept evolves too. The entire point is to try to find separate concepts for these Pokemon so they aren't literally just miniature versions of their evolved forms. But some will be. Make sure to check out my previous Pokemon creation videos and consider leaving a like and subscribing if this is your cup of tea. In the previous episode, I made the Prevo for the Kami trio, whose hairline definitely recedes when evolving. He should have used today's sponsor, Keeps. 2 out of 3 guys will experience some form of hair loss by the time they're 35. Keeps offers clinically proven, research-backed, and doctor-recommended treatments to stop hair loss and improve hair growth, all at about half the cost of traditional pharmacies. They even offer expert care from physicians to help you select the right products for your specific condition and hair goals. So not only do you not have to go to the doctor or pharmacy, but Keeps will also deliver straight to your door, and you can also subscribe to them and get refill reminders, so you'll never run low on the products you need to take care of your hair. Trust me, I actually use Keeps, so I'm aware of how debilitating hair loss is to someone's confidence, and when it comes to treating this problem, the sooner the better. So whether you're looking to prevent hair loss, stimulate your hair growth, or just take better care of the hair you have, Keeps has you covered. Hair loss stops with Keeps, so to get 50% off your first order, go to keeps.com/truegreen, or click the link in the description. That's keeps.com/truegreen. So the first preview I want to make is for Cresselia. It's one of the least over-the-top legendaries and has the perfect size for an evolved form. Since we simply don't want to make a mini Cresselia, we have to make sure this Pokemon has a separate concept. I'm thinking of basing it on the Moon Rabbit, which is a pretty common myth in East Asia and totally the exact concept Game Freak would use for a Cresselia Prevo. I'm thinking something like an alien that vaguely resembles a rabbit. I'm starting off with the crescent-shaped face and body, pretty much a smaller version of Cresselia's body, then the jewel on its head. I'm turning Cresselia's hands into feet that it uses to jump in the sky, and one aurora. I originally wanted the bunny ears to be a moon as well, but the entire process will be about trying to find a natural way to implement the bunny ears. Instead of the pointed tail, I gave it a fluffy rabbit tail, and instead of the moon headpiece Cresselia had, it will have a moon-shaped collar. I'm streamlining the ears. This way it doesn't look like bunny ears tacked onto a Cresselia face last minute. It looks like an abstract alien being now, but the patterns will make it look more animal-like. This baby looks like some modern art. I love it. I'll turn the majority of the body white, like a white rabbit and the moon. Now here is Cresselia, the lunar Pokemon, a psychic type from Crescent and Lagomorph, the order rabbits are part of. Cresselia is covered in soft fur-like down feathers that fall off when this Pokemon hops around in the sky. These feathers put people at ease. Cresselia is incredibly energetic, yet will wait patiently when those around it would like to rest. It was once believed to have come from the moon. Cresselia evolves while holding a lunar feather on Full Moon Island during twilight. It has the ability Levitate. I love making Pokemon that aren't exactly the animals they're based on, but have the vague shape of a real-world animal. It has a very interesting body, and I'm glad it looks like its own Pokemon and not just a tiny Cresselia. Now the next one is technically not a pre-evolution, but almost like a beta form. I want to make the very first creation of Regigigas, a Regiground, that was basically a half-baked Regi. It's not as fully formed or complete as a Regirock, and again, basically a Regirock prototype. Almost like Adam from the Bible being the first man and made from the earth. I actually wanted to name it Regi Adam, since Adam comes from the Hebrew word for ground, or vice versa. Linguists still have their theories, but Regi Adam would break the convention for Regi names. I'm basically making a mini Regigigas, but made of earth and clearly more bulbous. It'll have 4 eye holes instead of 7. It's way cuter this way too. I'll give it cracks that make it look sedimentary, but also like it's made of clay. Each part of its body is basically made of a different earthen material. Its legs aren't able to keep their shape and are constantly weathering down. Originally I wanted to give it these fingers like Regigigas, but decided to turn them into cute little pebbles. But now you can see how different each part of its body is. The colors highlight that even more. Now it's clearly a Regirock prototype modeled after its creator. Check out Regiground, the prototype Pokemon. After Regigigas pulled the continents, it planned to create Pokemon from its own image. Regigigas molded Regiground out of clay, dirt, and sand, and breathed life into it. Regiground is not very durable. Part of its limbs will occasionally fall off, but Regiground can easily repair itself using the earth beneath it. It's able to deteriorate at will in order to dodge and sneak up on opponents. When the legendary titans were sealed, Regiground was forgotten. It roams around looking for its master. It has the ability Sandveil, and I like this guy a lot. It looks more like Regirock than I thought it would, but that's kind of the point. It's basically a tiny Regirock, if it resembled Regigigas a bit more. The lore is that Regigigas realized rock would be sturdier and that this exact body shape wouldn't be ideal. Now last time we made a Xerneas pre-evolution, so it's finally time to make an Yveltal prevolved. It's simply going to be a hatchling. It'll have far less details, less intricate patterns, and way shorter wings, and barely any tail. It has to evolve in order to gain the Y-shaped silhouette that it has. But boy will it be adorable, I promise. I'll start with making a miniature version of Yveltal in terms of proportions, so giant baby bird head with cute eyes, a simpler version of its facial patterns, and the iconic collar feathers. Instead of 2 horns, it'll have 1 horn-like feather that makes it look like a traditional cartoon baby bird, but it also looks like a quail's head feather. It's trying to intimidate you with its wings. It won't have straight up 5 fingers like Yveltal, but 3 tiny nubs, pretty much a very simple version of its vein-like patterns, and giant talons. I want to make the patterns on the bottom of its belly kind of look like it's still inside of its egg, but only vaguely. I'm refining it before giving it Yveltal's color scheme, and then making it a bit pinker, almost magenta instead of red. Here is Malin, from Mal, meaning bad, and Talon, the wrecking Pokemon. Upon hatching, Malin has the innate desire to destroy. It will immediately break its nest and search for food. Yveltal siphons off some of the life force it has collected in order to feed hungry Malin, as they do not yet possess the ability to absorb life force. The cry of Malin is deafening. The sound of despair soothes them. They have the ability Dark Aura as well. They evolve into Yveltal at level 40. I told you it would be cute. I honestly think Yveltal is already charming, so it was hard to go wrong. I've wanted to see this exact Pokemon for years now, and I'm glad it has arrived. Now, while Heatran isn't based on a bug, the way it can walk on walls always reminded me of one, so I thought that if it ever had a Prevo, it would look more like a nymph or larva, perhaps a tiny lava creature that resembles a grub and is constantly eating metal in order to gain as much defense as its evolved form. I had a picture of what this would look like right from the beginning. I gave it the body of a Heatran, but with an extra set of legs, all of which are chubby and small. This guy isn't big. It'll have a simplified version of Heatran's metallic face, but instead of teeth and horns, it'll get these mandibles to chew on metal. Now it looks like both a Heatran and a grub. The hard part is deciding what to do with the fingers. I tried many configurations, but decided that it doesn't have much metal on its surface, so it gains the claws upon evolution. The color scheme is literally Heatran's. Behold, Thermeta, the core eater Pokemon, from Thermal and Metamorphosis. Thermeta hatch within the Earth's core. They spend every waking moment consuming metal, which melts when in contact with Thermeta's mandible. Metal begins to appear on the surface of this Pokemon's body as it eats. The more metal compounds, the closer it is to evolution. In order to finally evolve, it must consume a Magma Stone. It has the ability Flash Fire, and the hidden ability Flame Body. I love how I turned Heatran's faceplate into a bug's mandible. It's crazy how things like that work out, as if they were originally thought of by Game Freak. I think there should be more grub Pokemon, but once again, I'm a fan of creatures that have the shape of an animal that they aren't, like how this looks like a bug but isn't. Finally, I want to make the pre-evolved form for Zacian and Zamazenta, a tiny yet brave puppy with no sword and shield. Just a little helmet, I guess? I'd assume it would be purple as a combination of red and blue, and since Zacian and Zamazenta's names are simply the cyan and the magenta in a Japanese accent, this wolf cub will be named the purple or Zapapuru, which also contains the word pup inside, Zapapuru. It all comes together. So I'm basing the body and proportions on a mix of a wolf cub and a husky puppy. It'll have a lot of neck fur and look relatively tough for a puppy. The challenge will be to make it take equal inspiration from both Zacian and Zamazenta. I don't want to make it look fearless. I want it to seem like it's standing its ground even though it's not too confident. It honestly looked too plain in the face area, so I decided it should have at the very least a helmet. I decided to streamline its head a bit. It looks more heroic with a visible neck. Adding the finishing touches and purple color scheme, now it's complete. Meet Zapapuru, the training Pokemon, a fighting fairy type. This Pokemon evolves into Zacian or Zamazenta when holding a rusted sword or shield at Slumbering Wheel's altar. Zapapuru is incredibly brave. It will fight to protect others even when it's afraid. It's very athletic and hardworking, and thousands of years ago, Zapapuru were trained by kings of Galar. They were beloved and respected by all. It has the ability Heroic Heart, which boosts its speed when entering battle, considering it's not holding any weapon and is instantly ready to fight. I still haven't decided if this is the younger version of the Zacian and Zamazenta we see in Sword and Shield, or perhaps just one of many, and only the Zacian and Zamazenta we encounter have evolved. Regardless, Zapapuru is precious. If you enjoyed, please leave a like if you want part 3, and check out the previous Creating New Pokemon videos. And go to the description for the Keeps discount, t-shirts I made for you guys, my Patreon where you can get cool rewards like seeing my videos days early, which you can also do by pressing the join button and check out the music I used. Follow me on Twitter where I post previews of my art, and bye!